Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding.
Mountain.
And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the importance of rest in between sets and how playing around with rest in between sets can be a very valid way of hitting different muscle fibers, even if you're using the same weight in some cases. You know, you might be using a certain weight or intensity level, like say you're getting 8 reps at 275 or whatever, and then you rest longer or shorter, and that will influence what muscles you will hit and how intense it is on the body in a different way. So what spurred this conversation is that there was recently an article written by a guy named Luoma, who used to write for Muscle Media magazine, and he stated that there was a study that showed that men who were doing bench presses that rested 8 minutes in between sets had the capacity not only to get more reps per set, but basically get more volume and get more results because of this over the long run. So this goes back to what I've said before. Some people are trying to change everything in bodybuilding into a circuit workout, not realizing that they may be just taxing the energy stores and working the endurance fibers, but they may be shortchanging themselves by not working the fast twitch fibers or the power fibers that are responsible for the majority of muscle mass in a lot of people. So one thing you want to do is become conscious of rest in your workout. So when you're resting a couple minutes in between sets, which is pretty standard, a minute and a half to 3 minutes in between sets, these are pretty standard rest times. It is okay for you to use super long periods of rest when you're using heavier weights, so that way you can not only have more control over the weight because your nervous system gets a chance to replenish itself, but you also get a chance to be able to get more reps and more volume in with that heavy weight. So that would mean more muscular damage and a possibility of a greater level of adaptation because you're not letting the energy stores become the weak link. So you got to get out of the CrossFit mentality or the circuit training mentality where everything's about cardio and endurance. Cardio and endurance are not the same as strength and power, and a large amount of bodybuilding comes from strength and power. It's not about just taxing the energy stores, and if anything, mostly it's not about taxing the energy stores. It is about getting stronger as well. Now I know I advocate using light weights from time to time. Of course I do, because you do want to hit all the muscle fibers as a bodybuilder, but you definitely do not want to get stuck in the circuit training mentality where you're always just taking very little rest and always concentrating on fat burning and energy burning as opposed to building muscle, right? That's why it's called bodybuilding. So to get right to the point, the shorter rest in between sets, the more likely you are to be working the endurance fibers, which is fine. But if you're just working the endurance fibers all the time, you're going to be missing out on those fast twitch fiber gains, which require more rest because you need the nervous system to be able to fire 100% to be able to access those power fibers more efficiently. So this is why doing longer rest times in between sets, although it might seem easier to you in some way, it's actually a lot harder on the fast twitch fibers. So this is something you don't want to miss out on. Shorter rest means slow twitch fibers, which is the endurance fibers, and energy production becomes the weak link. And the longer rest, the more fast twitch fibers and nervous system becomes the weak link. So yeah, that study said 8 minutes in between sets, which is pretty extreme. I've never really done 8 minutes on purpose in between sets. You know, sometimes you get caught up in a conversation, maybe it happens by mistake or something in the gym, but don't think that just because you're resting longer in between sets, it's less intense. It can be extremely intense on the fast twitch fibers when you're using heavier weight because now you're able to hit that extra rep or two and basically break down the muscle tissue in a more aggressive manner, in a different way. And this is also important when it comes down to building muscle. So yeah, I thought this tip would be really valid for you dudes. And yeah, hope you like it. And thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get home, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. And thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now.
Mountain.
We still filming? I think we're still filming. I'm out of here. I'm sitting in goose shit.